was such an it left such an impression on me, and I enjoy his teaching. He's an expert. I'm gonna shut up now and turn it over to him. We call him Gary the Wiz. We call him Mr. Santa. We call him Magic Michael Trucking.
Yeah.
But today he's gonna be talking to us about getting your CDL and getting started in this industry. So I'm gonna shut up and welcome, Mr. Gary.
Hey, 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 welcome, kings and queens, to the podcast. I'm happy to be here. I'm very, very excited to be here, actually. Had some little technical difficulties, but we made it happen today. And like Elena said, I go by many names. Some people call me Mr. Santa, some people call me Gary with two R's. And today, guys can just call me G the Wizard. I can go by G Wiz, G the Wizard, either one, the Wizard of Trucking. And, I want to help you guys get started with your journey because I know a lot of you guys are beginners and just trying to find an answer, trying to find a way in. So, hopefully we can help with that today, piece by piece, as you guys continue to keep tuning into the podcast week after week. You'll find out more and more information, something that just may spark a light bulb and get you started, a good jump start into the industry. So, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Elena, for this platform, this opportunity. And yeah, we'll dive right in it. I'm gonna try to talk fast and you guys listen real fast, because Elena knows I can go for a lot longer. So I got to condense this thing into 30 minutes right here. So we're gonna go through this kind of quickly and jump right into it. But yeah, anything else, Elena? If not, I guess we could jump right into it.
Yep, we're good. It's all on you now, Mr. Wiz.
Okay. Well, like I said again, welcome you guys. Anybody that's a beginner that's just getting started. Drivers, and I don't want to just limit things to drivers. I want to, make sure people know that this podcast is for the whole trucking industry, transportation industry, is what I should say, because there's so many ways to make money in the transportation industry. Trucking is just one of them. So a little bit about me real quick. I'm currently a truck driver myself. I've been driving since about 2018. So a little over 5 years experience now. I've seen a lot in those 5 years. I've not seen it all, but I've seen a lot to know a lot about a lot. So, and I'm from North Carolina. I from the East Coast, and um, pretty much a family guy that grew up like every other average person that didn't have any clue that they would be driving an 18 wheeler when they got older. I was that kid, but I always looked at the 18 wheelers and would give them the little air horn sign out of the window. I was that kid, and now I find myself doing that to other kids. And there's nothing like it in the world, when you're out here driving on the road like that. But I basically fast forward. I got into a little trouble as a young, I'll say, an old teenager, early 20s, young male, and I got into a little trouble. Decided to turn to the streets, thinking that was going to be the answer for a lot of things. But as a lot of you guys know, there's not a lot of retired, happily ever after drug dealers out there. So, I had to take another route. I got into a little trouble. Luckily, I didn't get into any long term trouble. But I got myself out of that situation. And so, if nothing else, I want to make sure I can at least help someone that has a similar story to me in the industry. I remember I listened to a little of Felicia's podcast. I think it was from Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday. And she was saying her husband was basically a felon himself, a barber. I could relate to that. I come from the same thing. I'm actually a master barber, and a felon. You know what I'm saying? And went the barber route for a little while. Didn't work. I wanted to make more money. I got my instructor's license in barbering, but I wanted to make more money. So then that's when I dove into the trucking industry after that, and just decided to go to school, get my CDL, and take off from there. And then I started seeing all the other opportunities that you can make money in trucking besides trucking. So, but right now we want to focus first on the trucking aspect of it. But I just want to let anyone know before I continue too that you can change, you can do it, you can get out of the struggle, and you don't have to be fixated on one thing and be stereotyped into one thing your whole life. You can get out of the situations that you're in. I don't care if you're, on the streets, you're behind bars, you're swinging on stripper poles. I don't care what it is. You can get out of it, and have a legit path forward, in life. So, and I can vouch for that. So, basically, I'm diving right in. That's a little bit about me. And basically, for anyone that may be interested in getting into trucking, who may have a past similar to mine, where they may have been behind bars for a little while, or may have been unemployed for a little while, or having a hard time getting acclimated back to society, things like that. You can have a way. There's programs out here that can help you. There's people out here that can help you. You just got to take initiative and make a decision right now that you want to change and that you want to have a career. Because people tell you all the time, oh, you can't vote, you can't have any gun rights anymore once you become a felon, and all that. Don't listen to stuff like that. You can have your gun rights restored. You are able to vote if you're not a violent felon. You are able to vote again and things like that. So don't think that you can't just go into the trucking industry, for example, and make six figures. I'm not going to promise you that you'll make that starting out, but that's a start, and that's definitely a real goal that people can have. But one of the main things I wanted to stress to, like I said, people with a similar path to mine, is that there are programs in your specific county, in your state, your county. Elena's got the trucking school going on, so I'm sure you can look in the county of Kansas City. If you were planning on attending her school in particular, and there is financial aid that can help you. There's programs that can help you. There's something that the government came up with. Pretty sure it's the WIOA program, which will fund, you know, uh, felons. It'll fund people who've been unemployed or displaced at their jobs. So what you have to do is contact your Work First organization in your county, and go to them and ask them specifically about the WIOA program, which I think it replaced the WIA program back in 2014. But and Elena, I could leave you the link to this website that might help a lot of people after that, after the podcast today or whatnot. But we can get that done. But yeah, that's a good start for anybody who's trying to get financed in the whole thing, is the WIOA program. I've used the program before, and basically they help you fund anything that's going to put you back into the workforce. It could be barbering, it could be trucking, it could be whatever you decide on doing. So that could be a straight path to pay completely for your trucking career, pay for any books, they'll pay for uniforms, things like that. It's a real good program, and it's a federal program, so it's in every state. You just have to ask about it. So that's one way that you can get into the industry. One way that I'll try to defer people from going into the industry is don't go to these companies and schools that are asking you to sign a 12-month contract with them, and they'll reimburse your tuition after you complete a 12-month contract with them.
Say that
Most
again,
of the
Mr.
time,
Gary. Say that again, honey. Say that
yeah,
again.
there's a lot, and you're gonna hear a lot of people tell you, "Oh yeah, it's fine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all you got to do is just finish off your 12 months, and you're fine." But I'm telling you from experience, do not go to these large mega carriers who offer you a trucking, a CDL
Mm-hmm.
license, and in exchange for 12 months of work for them. They want you to stay connected with them for 12 months, and they're going to make you all kinds of beautiful promises that they're not going to keep. You're going to have a $300 or $400 paycheck every week.
Mm,
You're not going to be satisfied with your home time. You're
mm,
not going to be satisfied with the truck that you're in. You're not going
mm,
to be satisfied with the co-driver that you have, because some people are just not designed to be confined in a small space with another person for
mm-hmm,
very long. So
mm-hmm,
that's one thing. It's just a lot of negatives to it, and I did it myself. So this is why I'm telling you guys not to make the same mistake that I made, because they're gonna tie you to that contract, and then you legally can't go anywhere else, or well, you can go somewhere else, but you're basically gonna owe them about six
mm-hmm,
grand after that, and it's
mm-hmm,
gonna be on your credit, and they're gonna pursue you for it. So just save time and don't worry about that. That's not the answer. That's not the quickest route to get into the
mm-hmm,
trucking industry. A lot of people think that's a quick, easy way to get in. It's not easy. You're making it hard on yourself to do that. You
mm-hmm,
know, and respect to the people that have done it, but everyone that I went to class with that were my classmates, um, I think I know one of them for a fact that's still driving right now. Everybody else is not in the industry. They're either, driving Ubers, driving cabs right now. They're not in the industry at
mm,
all, or they owe this company a lot of money. And so I just don't want you guys to get involved with that at all. But I would recommend a private school like Elena's school, and look into the WIOA program, which is a great program for people. It's like a second chance program, that Congress created. So it definitely will help you get school paid for, as opposed to owing someone $6,000 and owing someone 12 months of your life. You don't want
mm-hmm,
to do that. You want to be, we want to be independent contractors eventually in this trucking industry.
mm-hmm,
So that's some of the things that you could use to get started. Um, for those of you who have already started your path, who may be signed up for a school already, you have a date already, and things like that. I would suggest to you guys, definitely pack light your first week or your first outing at your trucking school. Don't carry a lot of stuff with you. You want to just make sure you have your essentials, toothbrush, toothpaste, basically like a camping trip. If you were going on a real long 2 week camping trip, just have just enough for you, because these are small spaces inside of these trucks. Um, I mean, it's enough space for one person, but you want to have as least amount as possible. Pretty much anything that you could carry on a plane. That's what I would say. If you can't carry it on a plane with one check-in bag, maybe two check-in bags, I wouldn't bring it with you. Like, don't on your first time going to trucking school. You don't need to bring a microwave. You don't need to bring a TV and all this stuff, your PlayStation and all that stuff. All that stuff will come later. Just remember bare minimum when you're starting out with this trucking school, and getting your CDL. Um, One other thing I would consider is to stay focused. Make sure you have all your loose ends tied up before you leave, because you got to imagine that you're probably going to be gone 2 to 3 weeks at a time when you're first starting out trucking. So make sure you have all your doctor's appointments lined up, or rescheduled, or if you have children, make sure your children have proper babysitters and things like that taken care of. Make sure that they have a way to get on and off the school bus, things like that. Make sure you have your personal life in order before you go to trucking school, things like that. That's one other thing I would suggest to you guys. And one thing I would suggest also is, if you guys aren't are already doing it, get your credit straight before you go to trucking school or while you're going to trucking school. Slowly but surely get your credit straight. If you got 30 negative items on there, try to have 28 negative items when you go to trucking school. Get down to 26, then to 24. If you got 5 negative things on there, try to get all of those off eventually. But start working on that now. Whether I don't know whether you got to pay somebody to do it or whatever it takes. Start getting your credit right now, and I promise you'll see why in the long run. Whether you're a company driver or whether you're planning on being an owner operator or owning your own company, it's just always going to be better to have your credit straight. And besides, everybody needs that now. We need generational wealth. I hope everyone out there is interested in generational wealth. And one of the first steps to that is credit. I mean, credit makes the world go round. I think the United States is a few $1 trillion in debt because they have good credit. People love to loan the U.S. money. They love to loan the United States plenty of money, big bulks of money, because their face is good, their credit is good. They know that they'll pay it back. So just think of that on a small level, like having your credit straight is going to help you go further in life. Like that's one thing I would suggest definitely working on before, during, and after your CDL journey, things like that. Trying to think of what else you guys might need, like initially. See if I have any. Let's see. And basically, let's see. Yeah, I'll touch on. I touched on like materials that you need to bring with you. Basically, just a couple weeks of clothes. That's it. The bare necessities that you need to survive. Books, tablets, things like that. I would suggest you guys get, because you got to think you're driving for 8, 9, 10 hours a day most of the time, and you're gonna need things to keep you occupied and keep you focused while you're out here on the road. But it's not for everybody. I will say that. Trucking is not for everybody, but the ones that it is for can really excel with this whole thing. I'll say, some of the don'ts when you get out here, initially into trucking school. Don't listen to everyone. Cover your own butt, no matter what. Cover your own butt. Take pictures of everything. Write down everything. Record everything if you have to. When you first get out here, you're gonna have 30 drivers tell you 30 different things. You may be at a truck stop, a driver's gonna tell you, "Oh man, you should do this to back up. You should do that to back up." Then another driver's gonna come along and say, "Hey, yeah, man, what you need to do is pull forward. You need to go to the right a little bit." Do what's comfortable to you, what you've trained yourself to do, and what your instructors have told you to do, and focus on that. Sure, take someone's advice, and if someone's looking out for you and they're trying not to have you hit another vehicle, then yeah, listen to them. But for the most part, do stick with what you know. Be confident in yourself and your abilities. Because everybody doesn't do it the same way. Everybody doesn't drive the same way. Everybody doesn't learn the same way. Everybody doesn't back up the same way. Everybody doesn't memorize things the same way. So just cover your own butt out here, and you'll do well in this industry. And also humble yourself. Don't think that you know everything when you get out here. There are a lot of drivers out here that know a lot more than you, and some of them are willing to help. Some of them are willing to be buttholes about it. Decipher which one they are, gather the information that you need from each one, and go on about your business. Like, don't don't try to overdo it. Don't try to overthink it. One other quick thing I'll say right now is basically if you smoke weed, stop. Stop. Just stop. It's over with. Like, it's just stop. No, you're not gonna be able to take someone else's pee up to a drug test and think that you're gonna pass. This is not straight out of high school factory jobs that you're applying for. The FMCSA has a clearinghouse now that they can randomly drug test you at any moment. At any moment, if your name comes out of the hat, whatever company that you're working for, they're going to call that company and they're going to say, hey, John Doe, Jane Doe needs to go take a drug test, a drug and alcohol test immediately, or else we're going to fine you. We're going to give you a fine if they don't go within 2 hours. And so now your company is going to call you and they're going to say, hey, we found a fast med urgent care or something. We need to have you go there within the next 2 hours. You need to stop the truck, find the nearest rest area, find the nearest truck stop, and listen, we'll call you an Uber to come get you, but you need to get over to this LabCorp right now. You don't have time. You may be 700-800 miles away from home. You don't have time to go get your little brother's urine and think that you're going to go up to a LabCorp and pass a drug test. You're not going to have time to look for somebody at the truck stop that you think is clean and try to get their urine and go up to a drug test. You're just not going to have time. So if you smoke weed, do any other kind of drugs, now's a good time to stop. Stop now. Don't try to wait until a couple weeks before I start school. No, stop now. If you're 60 days off, 30 days off, stop now. And trust me, just leave it alone. There's other ways to get a high out here, to get intoxicated. You know what I mean? You don't need that anymore. You know what I mean? Just stop. Trust me on that. You're not gonna get away with, okay, yeah, I can still smoke like I want to and this and that and still drive. The FMCSA does not play with that stuff anymore, and it makes it harder for you to get another job if you fail one of the drug tests for FMCSA. If you fail a breathalyzer with a local sheriff in your Toyota Camry, that's not as bad as if you fail a drug and alcohol test with the DOT officer on the side of the road. And these guys, the DOT officers, can drug test you at any moment. They don't need probable cause. They don't need to smell smoke. They don't need to smell alcohol. They can drug test you at any moment as you go through a scale. They can tell you to pull around the scale house and park your vehicle, bring your paperwork inside. They can drug test you right there. They can weigh your truck. They can check your BOLs. They can do anything they want. They own you and that equipment, basically. So that's what you're getting into. That's why you don't have time a lot of times to, like I said, go get somebody else's urine. So that's one thing I will stress significantly is you guys need to stop, like just leave the weed alone. I love weed. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? I used to smoke it every day. But what's more important in your life right now, set your priorities and think about what got you to the place that you're in right now, and think about what's going to get me out of that situation. What do I need to change to not be back in this situation anymore, or to not be in a bad spot in my life right now. For some of you that have children that you need to be here for and things like that, I'm telling you, the streets ain't it. The streets ain't it. There are no, like I said, old, retired, happily ever after drug dealers out here. Most of them are dead or in jail. That's just the way it works. I was lucky enough to get out, and this is coming from somebody who's an experienced in the trucking industry, very experienced in the trucking industry, and very experienced on the streets. Like, I'm not bragging about anything, but I wasn't your small time nickel and dime type of guy. I graduated, I was very big on the streets, in other words, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to boast about that. That's nothing I'm bragging about. But I want you guys to know and understand that I've been there. I've seen it all. I've been hood rich and all that. Now I'm trying to be legitimately rich on a corporate level. That's where I'm trying to use that same hustle with the transportation industry that I used on the streets. And a lot of what I learned out there, I'm applying it to what I'm doing now, because there's a lot of negotiation, there's a lot of hustle, there's a lot of making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do. There's a lot of staying on top of things. There's a lot of enforcing things. When you need to have something done. That's part of the transportation industry. You got to have that go-getter in you. So that's just my advice. I don't know where we're at on time, Elena. We might be getting
Yeah.
close, but just that. I'll just touch on a couple more things. Oh, like basically etiquette. If you guys, etiquette is real big. I mean, it becomes a brotherhood and a sisterhood when you're basically joining a big fraternity, a sorority when you become a CDL holder.
Mm.
And most of us look out for each other. Drivers are going to look out for other drivers out here on the road. You're going to see that. But you're going to have those bad apples, of course. But for the most part, 95% of us consider this a brotherhood, and we're going to let a truck driver in front of us before we let a four-wheeler, they're called four-wheelers when you get out here, but another car in front of us, we may not let them cut us off, but another truck driver, we understand what that truck driver is doing, so we'll let another truck driver get in front of us when everybody's merging at the construction lanes and all that, but the car, they can wait. That's how it is. All right, so yeah, y'all keep that in mind, and keep in mind that there's a certain etiquette, there's a certain level of quality that comes along with being a CDL holder that we need to get back to. A lot of people have gotten away from that, and a lot of these drivers are sloppy, every
Hmm.
man for himself now,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't care about the next guy. So what we need to do is get back to that. So I want to tell the new generation that's coming into the trucking industry, just have basic etiquette. Be courteous to your other driver. Don't park in the fuel islands and go in and take a shower when someone else is trying to get fuel. Remember, that's your brother, that's your sister behind you. You know what I mean? Let them get fuel too. While you're in there being selfish, getting a shower, taking 30, 45 an hour in there getting a shower, that person could have got their fuel and went on about their business. Remember, that's your brother and your sister behind you. So just keep in mind, when you're out here, there's certain, rules to the streets out here. There's rules to the streets, and there's rules to the literal streets that we'll be driving down. There's rules out here to this. You know what I mean? Thank your fellow driver, by flashing your lights, when they let you over, or thank them by flashing your lights and stuff like that. Don't be in a rush. Don't cut people off. Just take your time out here, and everything will work out for you. And I guess just to, I don't want to go too long, but to wrap up what I was saying here, Elena, basically, you know, you guys, no matter what level of trucking that you want to get into, stay focused. Don't let anyone knock you off your course. There will be obstacles out here. I can't wait for the weeks to come where I can probably explain to you guys some of the obstacles that I've went through in my trucking thing. It's kind of like an introductory week, but there's a lot of obstacles that we need to nip in the bud out here that you're gonna face, but it's all about getting over them. And sometimes you have to pivot. Don't get stuck on one thing. Sometimes one aspect of the trucking industry might not be working for you, so you may switch to another aspect of the trucking industry. You guys might have heard about trucking right now. The trucking market itself is terrible right now as far as rates go for drivers that own their own trucks and fleets that own people that own their own fleets. The rates are terrible. They're not in the truck drivers' favor right now. They're in the favor right now of freight brokers, of the brokers actually, and the shippers. That's who has the upper hand right now. And it's like a roller coaster. It'll flip again in the driver's favor, but you have to weather that storm until that happens. So, when that happens, you may want to pivot into, okay, I'll become a freight broker. Let me see what the freight brokers are doing. Let me get into that aspect because that's transportation. Freight brokering is transportation. Dispatching is transportation. Warehouse storage is transportation. There's so many things
Mm-hmm.
that are involved in this besides just driving an 18 wheeler down the road. So don't have a limit on yourself. Don't have a cap on yourself. I just encourage everybody to take it as far as you want to go, no matter what level you want to go. If you want to stay behind the wheel for 20 years and drive an 18 wheeler for 20 years, then retire, you can make good money doing that, and that's fine. You could be okay doing that. If you want to go higher, if you want to be the next owner of CR England or Swift or one of these big mega carriers, then you can do that too. I'm telling you, the opportunity is here. There's just so many people who are not taking advantage of it. And that's what I hope that this podcast leads to changing for the industry. Do one step at a time, one highway at a time, one truck driver at a time, and that's pretty much what I got for you today. And just everybody stay live in the left lane. You know what I mean? We want to be in the left lane. We want to move fast, but in a controlled pace. You know what I mean? You don't want to be out of control with this trucking thing. You want to be in the fast lane, and you want to be passing people that you see not doing the things that you're doing. Because I'll tell y'all one thing, I'm not where I want to be yet, and I'm going to get there. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm doing better than a lot of other people.
Amen.
Because I stayed focused, I stayed controlled, I stayed in the fast lane, and I passed people who, sometimes you got to leave people behind.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know, Elena, you got anything else? I mean, I know I was all over the place, but
No, you
we're
weren't.
freestyling this whole thing,
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, definitely you weren't all over the place. I thank you and appreciate everything while you were talking. I took notes, of course, and I was just
Yeah.
thinking, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so exciting. I think that for the people that are signing
Yeah.
up for our school, when they sign up, I'm gonna send them a copy of your podcast because I think everything
Yeah.
that you just said, it's stuff that I just learned. Like I didn't know the DOT could just test you at a way station. I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And one thing also for newbies, some people do it. They'll have there's a rest area at some way stations. They'll have a rest area. To me, that's a trap because they'll get you to do your 10-hour break at the rest area, but then they'll be knocking at your door in the morning. The DOT officer will and say, "Hey, we're gonna do a level 3 inspection on you real quick. Sorry to wake you up, but we're gonna do a level 3 inspection on you." And so it's like if you were, for the guys who are on the streets or whatever, gals too, like if you had 3 pounds of weed in your trunk and you go park at the police station. Why would you do that? Like that's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing. Like don't park at those scales that have rest areas. It's a trap, trust me.
I was just
But yeah,
I was
anywhere, anytime, they
I
can
was
do
just
that.
about to say right before you gave that analogy, all I know in my blood is I try to get my drivers to go as far away from way stations as possible.
Right, right,
Go through
right.
it, get away
Nah,
from
yeah,
them.
get
And if
careful,
they
man.
stop you, whatever they need, give it to them. If you need to call me, give it to
That's
them. And
it.
every time I get on the phone with the driver, get out of there. Do whatever you got to do to get out of
Yeah,
there. Like, don't go close to them. Don't just get out of there, honey, because like you said, you never know when it's a setup. And your truck cannot be doing nothing. And like you said, you wake up to this big long inspection, and chances are their
yeah,
job is to find something on that truck. Like that's their job, because that's how they make their money. That's my outlook anyway as an owner. But but
yeah, absolutely.
I know that's not their job. DOT don't shut me down. But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that's what they look for. But anyway, Mr. Gary, thank you so much. And I'm about to go on our Facebook Live and share it with everybody. I took some good notes. Pack light, stay focused, get your credit together, cover your own butt. Don't
yeah,
listen to everybody. Stay humble. And I think I'm gonna title it New Driver Generation, because I just love the
Yeah,
way you
yeah,
put all that information out there, and we're excited. So every Thursday you can hear Gary the Wiz right here and get all the subject matter expert that he has. I know Gary is working on some things as he's working on developing his things wherever it is. He'll be
yeah.
advertising his products and things like that, his YouTube channel and everything, so you can get in communication and connection with him. And thank you again, Mr. Wizard. I
Absolutely.
appreciate your time, and we love you, Mr. Gary. And I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna download everything, go live, and we'll get it published.
Yeah, absolutely. Love you guys too. And you guys say all kings and queens stay up. And like I said, stay tuned because there's gonna be so much more detail. This is just scratching the surface. We're getting this whole thing started. We'll have the format is gonna get better. Y'all stay tuned because if you want to learn about the industry, you're in the right spot with Elena. I'm telling you. Yeah. But thank you so much, Elena.
Thank
And
you, Mr.
I'll
Gary.
be in touch.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
All
Signing
right.
off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.